Hello and welcome to the all-new Siku Nissan Gtr Nismo. This one is quite a special one, as it's the only Siku I've ever picked up that I actually like. Now, in terms of the packaging, we have regular Siku. It's a card with sort of a plastic box around it, so you can take off with these little tabs. I will take mine off because it's cracked anyway. Licensing information as per usual. We have Nissan Motor Corporation, official licensed product. As always, not 3 sad onions as I say, as they look like onions and they are very sad. We have the Siku logo here and a bunch of licensing giblets, which no one really cares about. The good stuff's on the front, and that's all anyone ever cares about. So let's take it open, let's have a look at it, and share my opinions and thoughts. And here it is. We're going to go on all 4 sides of the car, have a quick look, and really show the details off and share what I really think about this thing. The positives and the negatives of it, and really everything in between, my opinion, and general facts about it that you may not have known. So let's have a quick look, and really let's get into it. Now, for Siku, they usually have general sort of okay details, but not great. I've got a BMW M3 from them, and I'm really not happy with it. It just looks odd, the casting's just wrong, and the details are very, very vague to the point where there's not much point in having them. But this GTR is where it completely flips on its head. I mean, the headlights themselves, the unit is, of course, not lensed, but they are just fantastic. They're like a work of art. Little details here shown, and then there's an LED strip like the genuine car. LEDs down here. The bonnet has some great little vents here, and on the front end, this is where I was really wowed. The GTR, you can physically read it from eye level, and including a tiny, I mean, even this is the end of a screwdriver, which is small in itself, but that tiny Nismo logo there, which just looks great. Like, you can read it, and it's just great. Also, we have a little red line following around, which is true to the Nismos. Our genuine genuine Nismo Duke, including also has that. Every Nismo product has that, and it's a feature that they've carried on since I think the early 10s. Now, moving on to the side, we'll move the phone slightly. We'll see the first little gripe I have for this cast, which is a little quality control issue here, which is where the paint didn't quite apply to the casting, so it's sort of flaking off. I haven't pulled it off because then it would just leave a great grey mark, but that's the first and only little gripe I have with this. Everything else I think is perfectly fine and quite great. Now, general details on this side, we see the black and red trim following all the way down, and honestly, the way they've done the red trim is great. There is no sort of discrepancies in the way it's applied. It's all completely straight, going all the way around. It's the same exact height all the way. Also, A-pillar is nicely detailed black, as those I believe are actual carbon fibre on the real ones, or at least carbon fibre trim, or maybe black trim, can't quite remember, but they're one of those two things. New for the 2021 model of GTR Nismo, we also have vents, which are also on the front fenders. These are sort of Le Mans style. Also an indicator / reflector here on the front end. Really shows how great, in-depth and detailed they've really gone into it. And also on the front arch, another vent with where the indicator would actually be. And of course some mirrors, which I think is a great touch, and of course a reflector. There aren't many Nismo GTRs made by 1/64th scale manufacturers. And this isn't 1/64th, this is around 1/51st, but it's still not overly big that it doesn't blend in. Of course, you can see the screwdriver of truth blending in just around here. Now, the proportions on it are all great. I don't see any sort of issues with it whatsoever. The wheels are the right size, and general, next to a 1/64th scale car that is genuine, it does look huge. But in its own, with photos, it doesn't look bad. The proportions on it are all right. The wheels are the same size as what they should be. Headlights are where they should be, and the general shape of it is perfect. It just needs to be slightly smaller. Onto the rear now, where I really think the sort of level of detail shines through. With a lovely Nissan badge, Nismo easily readable, GTR easily readable, lovely rear lights, of course, where the reverse indicator, hazards, and of course brake lights and headlights are also there. So when you put the headlights on, one of these will turn on. So one of the sets, I believe it's the inner sets, to let you know that behind you, or the car's behind you, that of course the car is moving. And I've also a little fog light down here, and again, perfectly molded is this red sort of line, and it even connects up with the other side, which I think is utterly fantastic. On both sides it connects up, showing how just great they've nailed it. I like the little license plates going around the corner. I think that's a great little touch. And of course the huge rear wing, which just looks brilliant. It sort of ties the whole in together, and it's actually very accurate with that little box in the middle. They've just absolutely nailed it. This casting is just fantastic. So aside from it being slightly too big, should you get one? Well, for the price of a regular Hot Wheels Premium, I definitely get it. It may not be exactly 1/64 scale, but the details come up for it so much so much better than if you didn't get one. It's very comparable to the Matchbox one, maybe even slightly better in terms of some tiny details like that Nismo detail. So when I get one, without a doubt, yes, it's just too good to leave on the pegs. If you're in England or Europe, you definitely need to pick one up if you see one. Even if you're not a Japanese collector of Japanese cars, it's still definitely worth getting, because it's a fantastic modern vehicle, which looks great, and it has a great presence. Even if you just leave it on a shelf, it still looks great. So yes, I definitely get one. Is it worth the money? As I've just said, yes, without a doubt, yes. And out of 10, which order market, I'd say it's around a 7 or an 8. It's definitely got the details. It's just sort of the size an issue, which generally isn't an issue for me right now. I'm just enjoying the casting and saying it's a great cast. So with all that said, I definitely recommend get one. And I'd also say, stay safe, everyone, have fun, and of course enjoy the pictures. And of course, stay jugging.